This is the worst behavior a victim of mental abuse by narcissists can experience. When you hear from others who have survived mental abuse from a narcissist, it can provide insight into how to handle your own situation. Such abuse could harm your prospects of achieving love and emotional fulfillment. A person's behavior may shift for any number of reasons, and emotional highs and lows are a reflection of people's behavior. However, one's behavior may be improved upon in the same way that any other part of one's life can be. Changes in conduct are the most obvious and deleterious consequence of psychological stress. In this video, I discuss some signs that victims of narcissistic abuse may exhibit. Number 1. Depression and anxiety. Do you know someone who seems to be constantly worried and sad? Have you spent a lot of time checking in on them to make sure they're okay? It's possible that the person is being mentally abused by a narcissist. Being the focus of relentless criticism can wear someone down, and the recovery time for this type of abuse isn't as fast as it is for a physical injury. Abuse on the mental plane creates deep, permanent wounds. Verbal abuse, which can be subtle but devastating, usually occurs when the offender is someone the victim often interacts with or cannot avoid. If you expect to be abused in the future, you can't expect to feel upbeat and happy. In fact, it can make you feel so hopeless and helpless that death by suicide may seem like an attractive alternative. Seeking medical attention is necessary if this occurs. Number 2. Issues with obedience. Compliance means doing no more than is strictly necessary when one's actions are in line with what other people want or expect. Obedience is a state of mind in which one always chooses to comply with a command, even though doing so would be contrary to one's values or principles. Compromising means agreeing to do something you'd rather avoid. Those who have been the recipients of mental abuse typically respond by becoming exceedingly stubborn in order to forestall any further harm. They may also place a high emphasis on their relationships with the abuser and or others. Number 3. Extreme self-doubt and an inability to trust one's own judgment. Those who have experienced mental abuse firsthand can attest to the destructive consequences it can have on one's self-esteem. As a result, the victim may feel humiliated and powerless. Many individuals who have suffered trauma may choose not to speak out about it due to fears of being ridiculed or ostracized. Unfortunately, victims often appear helpless and vulnerable, despite their best efforts to appear otherwise. Abusers frequently remind their victims of their supposed shortcomings as a form of psychological warfare. Hearing derogatory comments on a regular basis can cause significant psychological harm and undermine the victim's ability to trust themselves. Number 4. They are emotionally unstable and unable to regulate their behavior. The brain is the body's control center, responsible for processing information and making decisions. Mental abuse can erode an individual's ability to control their own thoughts and feelings, leading to emotional instability and impulsive behavior. Without proper regulation, these actions can have serious consequences and result in regrettable decisions. Number 5. Irrationality, the propensity to act or react without sufficient reason. Victims of psychopaths may display extreme emotional responses, such as hysteria or oversensitivity, due to a loss of the ability to reason. These individuals may be taught false or damaging beliefs and be treated as expendable. As a result, victims may think and behave in ways that are not based on reality. When falsely accused or unfairly judged, it is natural to feel intimidated. Number 6. Gloom and despondency. Do you know someone who always has a negative attitude and seems to only care about survival? Perhaps they are on the brink of despair due to their worries about themselves and the world. Victims of mental abuse may lose faith in themselves and their ability to face future challenges. Pessimism, or the belief that things will turn out badly, can become intentional and colour their view of the past, present and future. Mental maltreatment can lead to defeat and depression, making it difficult to believe in one's own worthiness of happiness. As a result, victims may take extra precautions to protect themselves from harm. Number 7. Unproductiveness. Victims of mental abuse may lose interest in activities they once enjoyed and may make little progress, even with access to all necessary tools. They may feel a sense of hopelessness and negativity, expecting the worst due to their experiences with narcissists. This negative view of life can be toxic to one's pursuit of meaningful accomplishment, especially if the person believes that their efforts are not valued. Number 8. Loss of responsibility and safety. Recklessness in psychology refers to a disregard for one's own safety or that of others. Victims of mental abuse may make rash decisions under pressure, leading to a destructive cycle of codependence with their abuser. Abusers often create stressful environments that can affect a person's decision-making abilities. Taking matters into one's own hands can lead to a worsening of the situation, creating a catch-22. Victims may become careless or unable to make good decisions due to the emotional and psychological torment they have endured. Number 9. Resentment. When negative words or thoughts are thrown at a person with malice, it can be upsetting. Victims of abuse may feel resentment towards their abuser for the harsh actions they have experienced or witnessed. When victims think back on their experiences, they may become filled with resentment and a desire for revenge. They may seek to demand retribution, exact vengeance, and justify their experience. This can be especially true for narcissistic abusers who may appear empathetic. Victims may feel a need to bring the abuser to their knees and strip them of their power. However, victims may also unintentionally vent their frustrations on those around them instead of confronting the narcissist, who they know will not change their behavior. Number 10. Unsettled. Victims of narcissistic mental abuse often exhibit unsettling behaviors that can be difficult to empathize with. They may behave properly because they are afraid of the narcissist, which can lead to signs of tension and restlessness. For example, they may have trouble remaining seated or find themselves too distracted to focus on tasks for very long. These behaviors may be caused by anxiety or stress about something that isn't a real threat. Nail biting, foot tapping, and tapping fingers on a tabletop are all coping mechanisms that can help people with anxiety. If you or someone you know has experienced narcissistic mental abuse, it's important to recognize that most victims alter their behavior as a result. Making changes to one's behavior can aid in the recovery process. However, if you want excellent results, it's a good idea to consult an expert. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe.